I am a certified neurobiological therapist and a speech therapist, and I have been working with children for 15 years. And I am also the founder of Institute Forest and an innovative kindergarten. It is the first neurobiological kindergarten in Poland. But most importantly, I'm the mother of the dragonfly, Gabrielle, aged 14. But at first, let me start with the definition. Neurobiological therapy is the method that stimulates all of the cognitive functions in a child. The basic assumption is that in order to develop an intervention plan for children with genetic and development disorders, it is necessary to imitate the sequence stages of healthy child's development. Neurobiological therapy is based on understanding how the human brain works. In vitro and in vivo studies and functional magnetic resonance imaging have provided us with this information. Shortly, we can say that we take the knowledge which is presented here and we create the therapies for our children. Neurobiological therapy described and developed by Professor Jagoda Cieszyńska, University of Krakow, is known in Poland as metoda krakowska. All of the elements listed here must be presented for the therapy to be fully effective. Today, I do not have enough time to tell you all about it, but I will reveal some of the secrets. In order to have a better understanding how important it is to know how the brain works, I will tell you a bit about it. Of course, not everything I said has to be taken literally. And of course, it is not that simple. But for the purpose of this lecture, and so that you have a basic understand how the brain works, we'll simply see a bit of diagram of how the brain hemispheres operate. Human brain is composed of two hemispheres, the left one and the right one, which is quite easy. And each of is responsible for slightly different functions. Let's start with the left brain. The left side of the brain is responsible for the following functions. Very important for us is the language system or the sequential reading, categorizing, linear processing, and everything what is different. Let's go to the right one. The right brain is listen to the music. This is not the same as playing the instrument. The playing the instrument is the left side. Also with the reading. The reading, like global reading, you know that every child can read the McDonald's. It is the right brain function, but reading letter by letter is the left brain function. Also, the right brain functions are the first strategies of learning. Like all of the kids love music, cartoons, listen to the songs, singing the songs, because this all are the brain side functions, and the brain side functions are the first one. We can say also these are the easiest one. Okay, so now let's do some practice. Let's take a look how the men's and women's brains differ. Imagine that you are in the do-it-yourself store looking for the paint for your living room. The names are Misty Morning, Fabulous Magnolia, Spring Breeze, or even a Secret Geisha. Are just some of the fancy names for wall paint shades. Have you ever wondered why? Well, females tend to choose those colors, yes? Yes. On the other hand, fence and roof paints come in black, brown, gray. Why? The men's brain, because the men's pick up that colors, yes? So the men's brain works differently from the woman's. The corpus callosum, we had it about it in the last one lecture. The structures that contains two hemispheres of the brain is much larger in women. As a result of the flow of information between the two hemispheres, it's much faster. While a woman's language is more, sophisticated, Men need to simply short message as the color, yes, short color. So if you're a woman and you think you have the sixth sense, yes, you have it. Okay, let's go to parking a car. When you are parking a car, what do you do with the music? Yeah, exactly. You turn the radio down to hear if you bumped into anything. No. In fact, parking a car requires effective activation of many functions of the left hemisphere. The function included associating the distance, the sequence of street wheel movements, and the use of rear view mirrors. That's why you turn off the radio, which a little bit shut down the right brain, the right hemisphere functions. Okay, and again, let's go to the time. How many of you have the tendency to be late? Oh, great, I'm not alone. Our perception of the time is linear, which is also the left brain function, which is why people who are right brain dominant, for example, very creative people, yes, I am quite creative, I believe, they have a problem with the, with the all of the left side function. They do not have a very good sense of how much time there is. Either they arrive too late or they arrive much too early. So from now, remember, if you are late, you will say that you have a problem with the linear sense of time. Okay, and now let's see if we have a genius in our hands. Please tell me what doesn't fit her. Pick the one out. Yeah, great, perfect. You have noticed this? Okay, and then here, the same. Yeah, perfect, very good. But sorry, you're not a genius. This just means that we have all configured well our brains. That's because we have many drawers in our brain, and you have sorted the matching items in correct way. And the ones that don't fit it, immediately you can see it. Was also a demonstration of how important category training is for the function of our brain and the development of our language system. I will have more to say about the categories later. But still, now you can see how much we can already know about the brain works, but certainly we don't know much more. But the first good news for today is that dual inheritance theory postulates that people are influenced by two lines of inheritance, genetic and the cultural one. And now look, this is the picture of stimulate and unstimulated brain. A child cognitive development makes all of this work better. Idle cells have no place in the brain. Neurons die if you don't learn. Do you have any idea when my son, Dragonfly Gabriel, had his first nice sleep? When he started talking, when he started speaking. It was about when he was at age 6, 7. The brain should be properly formed. All its functions should mature and develop in a certain way. If this is not happening by itself, we have to help the brain to do it. And this is what the neurobiological therapy does. And the very good news is you can shape a child's destiny regardless of their genetic inheritance. But this is very important to make sure that therapeutic interventions you use are the brain-friendly as possible so as to maximize their developmental potential. Let's go with the develop of language system. This is how the monotypic child's language system develops, no matter what country you are born or rise in. Let's try to say the word mother in your own language. Try to say it loudly or in your mind. All the sounds, in my language, it is mama, as I write down here. And look, we are from different countries, different continents even, and in each language, the word mama sounds similar. Yes, we are using the sound like m, n, like mommy, mater, mutter. It's so similar. Why? Because the sound it is a primary sound which human produce. That's why it is. But let's go with the language system, how the language system developed and what it is, the language system. So we can say that the language system is a kind of mathematical equation in which all the expression must be added up for communication to be effective. The language system consists of grammar and vocabulary. And look in here, we have the words. The words are like a right brain, but the grammar is like the left brain. And also, the child learns the native grammar by the age of 3, while the new vocabulary is acquired all the life. But remember, to communicate effectively, you first need to master the grammar of the language. Echolalia, or keyword communication, is often observed in a child with delayed speech or other developmental disorders. This means that children use a narrow range of the same phrases, sentences, and words, like a right brain functions. For the language system to develop properly, all the cognitive function must be stimulated and language must be programmed from the start. But also very, very important is that before or during the development of the verbal communication, the brain has to learn and automate many, many other functions. And remember, we can say that our child is like a flower, and to help the flower to help the rise, we have to change something. For the change to happen in child, we adults have to change something. So let's see how to do it. Absolutely, this is a key takeaway from today's conference for you parents, and also maybe for the specialist, that learning by doing. This is only one way to effective therapy and the way how we can effectively learn and teach. We presented of children with disabilities tend to do all of the work for our children. And you should ask 5 times as much from children with disability. The child must do things independently, by himself, by herself. Otherwise, there is no development of the brain. Therapy is a waste of time if the therapist does a task for the child and the child is passive. For example, to make a motor function automatic, the number of repetitions is counted in hundreds, 300s, 400s, Little says. Ideally, it should be a task-based exercise. This is one that requires the child's concentration and effort. It should not be difficult, but it should be not easy either. It needs to challenge the child. The second one, also very, very important. It does not really mean anything to say that the children has autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, or CTNNB1 syndrome. The child may have a certain preposition to the disorder. However, every child is different, and different functions will be more or less effective in each child. This is why it is important to know at what stage of development the cognitive functions are, and only then plan the therapeutic intervention. And number 3, also very important, is that is to know that each cognitive function has a vector of development from primary function to the secondary function. This is how it is with the development of the motor skills. You know, the child at first holds his head up, then lies on the belly, then crawls, sits down, and stands up. No one teaches a baby to walk before it can hold his hands up, head up. It's, obvious. Therefore, therapeutic intervention should start from the moment the child has stopped developing. To learn one thing, you need to learn something else first. This is our human nature. Now, let's go to the practice. I'm going to show you some very effective exercise. Those will mainly be exercise for the left side of the brain, which is essential for the development of the language system. Category. Our brains put everything into categories. As you saw in the search one slide a few minutes ago, there are many drawers in the brain. Every word goes in the particle drawer, the left brain function. But this is why this exercise are so important for language development. Of course, as we said earlier, this exercise must be done in the right order. At first, the child needs to categorize by color, then by size, then by shape, and at the end, any other abstract categories. And remember, the brain, or rather the hippocampus, does not like to be bored. So use every time different materials, different stuff. Only the sky is the limit. The animals, plastic animals, the pompons, the socks, whatever you want. These all are the exercise for the categorizing. And also another one important function for the sequential and linearity is a certain sequential arrangement of the words into sentence. It is a basis of all grammar. Here again, we need to practice linear sequential processing step by step. And those are the exercise again used in my practice. Okay, let's go to articulatory gestures, are very important part of therapy for our dragonfly children. Children of CTNNB1 have a problem with planning the movement of articulators because they have a problem with muscle control. Very often it can be seen that they understand a lot more than they are able to say, or they are saying only the strange words. This is why it is necessary to introduce the method of manual modeling of speech organs to achieve the desired sound. In Polish, we called it manualne torowanie głosek. This method helps to position the articulators correctly. Also, we can use the gestures, but remember, this is not the same like a sign language. By the gesture, we are showing where is the right position for the articulators. Okay, let's try to practice this with the color pink at first. Use your finger and make the color pink. I'm showing how our mouth, how our lips position, like pink. Now let's go with the color blue. Yes, like blue. Okay, we are showing how to say blue color. And then let's go to color green, for example. Green. Also, look, I'm showing the sound E, and I'm doing this with my lips. Yes, this is articulatory gestures, very important for the CT and NB1 children. And also reading learning to read plays a very, very important role in our neurobiological therapy. Why is that? Because a child learns a language from the written word all the way to the spoken one word. And in our country, we have a very good method for doing this, a method that allows even very, very young children to learn how to read. And it also the method called symultaniczno-sekwencyjna nauka czytania, very difficult even in our Polish language. But we can say that we can translate it like this is from right brain function to left brain function. You will see in the moment my son Mieszko, and he's at this video 18 months old.
Mieszko?
He's doing the gesture, yes, with the E, we like this. Like, this is also the gesture, like, Okay, in conclusion, I would like to introduce to the children I work with in a daily basis. No need my words here. See for yourself how the neurobiological therapy works. But remember, this is not some kind of magic. This is a hard work, everyday hard work. Co to jest takiego? Zaraz będzie. This is just half a year later.
Nie, to jest dzióbkiem. Co to będzie? Popatrz, z dzióbkiem, czyli? Poczekaj, najpierw ja, a później ty. To jest? No pewnie. Proszę, wybieramy. To jest? Idzie.
As you can, it's very difficult for him to speak.
Dobra, maluję.
And now?
Maluje. Tata. Ela robi kupę.
He said Ella is a name. Ella is making a poo. Because, you know, the brain, as I said, the brain can be boring. We need to do something what is very interesting for child. And the last one?
Hello, my name is Gabriel, and this is my key, and love you and goodbye.
This is my son Gabriel. He can speak both in English and in Polish language, very fluent, quite fluent one. Okay, so for the last one, which car is the fastest one? Red? Okay, at the next conference, I would tell you why the red one is the fastest one. Okay, so please don't hesitate to contact me. A child doesn't have to speak for the diagnosis and to be made for the therapy plan to be drafted up. I'm happy to help you. Thank you.